My child, this message is only for you. Out of millions of voices speaking at the same time, out of endless distractions competing for your attention, out of countless moments that could have passed unnoticed, I chose this one to reach you. I guided your eyes here. I settled your heart just enough to pause. You are here because I wanted you here, not because you searched well, not because you were lucky, but because I called you quietly, and you responded without even realizing it. You did not arrive by chance. Nothing about this moment is accidental, rushed, or misplaced. Heaven itself arranged this meeting with care and intention. Long before you saw these words, I saw you. Long before you felt the pull to stop, I knew this would be the moment you were ready to listen. Every delay, every turn, every unexpected pause that led you here was guided. You were not wandering. You were being led. Out of millions of people living their lives right now, your eyes are seeing this, and your heart is feeling something stir. That stirring is not curiosity. It is not coincidence. It is recognition. Something within you knows this moment matters. Even if your mind cannot fully explain why yet, that knowing comes from me. It is the sound of your spirit recognizing my voice. My child, I know every question you have whispered when no one else could hear. I know the prayers you prayed with words, and the ones you prayed with tears, and the ones you prayed with silence because you were too tired to speak. I know the questions you stopped asking out loud because it hurt to hope again. I know the confusion you carried quietly and the doubts you never shared. This message will answer what you have been asking, not all at once, but deeply and honestly. Do not doubt why you are here. Fear will try to convince you this is just another moment, just another message, just another passing thought. Do not listen to that voice. Do not minimize what you feel right now. You were selected, seen, and drawn here on purpose. I do not waste moments, and I do not speak without intention. If you are here, it is because there is something I want you to understand. Stay with me now. Slow your thoughts. Let go of the urge to rush ahead or analyze everything immediately. What you are about to hear was not meant for everyone. It was meant for you. That is why it feels personal. That is why it feels precise. That is why it feels important. You may have felt overlooked before, passed by, forgotten in rooms full of people. You may have wondered why others seemed to receive clarity while you waited, why answers came easily to some while you wrestled with silence. Hear me clearly now. You were never invisible to me. I have always known where you were. I have always known what you were carrying. Being chosen does not always look obvious. Sometimes it looks quiet. Sometimes it looks like waiting. I chose this moment because you are ready in ways you were not before. Ready to hear truth without it breaking you. Ready to receive clarity without it overwhelming you. Ready to understand answers that once would have confused you. Growth happens quietly, and readiness often arrives without announcement. You have grown, even when you felt stuck. Out of millions, you are here not because you are better than others, but because your journey shaped you for this moment. Your waiting, your disappointment, your questions, your endurance, none of it was wasted. It positioned you to recognize this call instead of ignoring it. Many would scroll past. Many would dismiss it. You stayed. I know you sometimes wonder if you missed something important in life, if you fell behind, if you took the wrong path. I know you replay decisions and imagine different outcomes. This moment is not here to accuse you. It is here to reassure you. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you need to be to hear what comes next. Type, I believe you, Lord, even when my eyes can't see. If you're walking forward by faith alone. This message is only for you because I am speaking into your specific season, your specific questions, your specific heart. Others may hear these words, but the meaning that settles inside you is tailored to you. I speak broadly, but I touch personally. I know how to reach you without you explaining yourself. Do not rush past this because you think you already know what I will say. Do not assume you have heard this before. Familiar language can carry fresh truth when the heart is ready. Stay open. Let your guard down. You do not need to protect yourself here. You are safe to listen. You were drawn here because I want to restore something in you. Not just comfort you for a moment, but realign you. Not just answer one question, but quiet many. Not just encourage you, but steady you. This is not a random pause in your day. It is an intentional turning point. I know part of you wonders why this had to happen this way. Through a screen, through words, through a quiet moment instead of something dramatic. Understand this. I often speak most clearly when the world is quiet enough for you to hear. I meet you where you are, not where you think I should be. Out of millions, you are here because your heart still listens, even when it is tired, because you still hope, even when you try not to, because you still ask, even when answers seem slow. Those qualities matter. They are why you recognize this moment instead of ignoring it. You may not fully understand yet why this feels important. You do not need to. Understanding will come. For now, trust the pull you feel. Trust the sense that you were meant to stop. Trust the peace, mixed with seriousness, settling in you. That is my presence meeting your attention. This message was not meant to rush you or pressure you. It was meant to meet you, to remind you that you are known, to show you that your questions were heard, to assure you that there is purpose, even in the waiting you did not choose. Stay with me. Let the noise fade. Let comparison fall away. Let doubt loosen its grip. You are not one voice among millions to me. You are my child, and I speak to you as one who matters deeply. You are here because I chose this moment for you. You are listening because your spirit recognizes my voice. And what you are about to hear will answer what you have been asking, not always in the way you expected, but in the way you need. Do not minimize this. Do not explain it away. Receive it with humility and trust. Out of millions, you are here, and that is not by chance. My child, you were chosen, not randomly found. I want you to hear that slowly and let it settle deep within you. You did not stumble into this moment by accident, curiosity, or chance. You were not swept here by luck or coincidence. You were guided. I drew you here with intention, and I did so because I know you. I see you, and I care for you in ways you have not fully understood until now. Out of millions of people living their lives at this very moment, your path crossed this message because heaven guided it so. But does that mean others are unseen? It means that this moment was prepared specifically for you. I know how easy it is for you to think you are just one among many, easily overlooked, easily replaced, easily forgotten. That way of thinking did not come from me. It came from moments where you felt invisible, unheard, or delayed. But invisibility has never been your story with me. I chose you intentionally. I did not select you because you were perfect, strong, or without doubt. I chose you because your heart is honest, because you still listen even when you are tired, because you still search even when you feel unsure. I chose you because you have endured quietly, questioned deeply, and continued forward even when clarity felt distant. These things matter more than you realize. You may have asked yourself before, why certain moments seemed to find you while others passed you by, why certain messages felt different, why you felt drawn to pause when logic told you to move on. That pull was not random, it was alignment. It was me calling you gently, waiting for the moment when you would stop long enough to hear. I want to remove every trace of coincidence thinking from your heart right now. Coincidence says this moment has no meaning. Coincidence says your presence here is replaceable. Coincidence says nothing changes whether you listen or not. That is not true. This moment matters because you matter. Your listening matters. Your response matters. You were chosen not because you are better than others, but because your journey shaped you to be ready now. There were lessons you needed to learn. There were layers you needed to shed. There were questions you needed to wrestle with before answers could land safely in your heart. If this message had reached you earlier, you might have heard it but not received it. If it had come later, you might have missed the window it was meant to open. This timing is precise. I have been watching you longer than you realize. I have seen the way you try to understand life deeply instead of skimming the surface. I have seen how you reflect, how you replay moments, how you search for meaning even in disappointment. I have seen how you carry questions inside you without always knowing who to ask. You are not overlooked in those moments. You are known. When I say you were chosen, I am not speaking in vague or symbolic terms. I am speaking personally. I know your story. I know the things you doubt about yourself. I know the areas where you feel behind and the places where you feel unsure if you will ever catch up. I know the quiet fear that tells you maybe you missed your moment. That fear does not speak truth. I do. You were not randomly found because I do not operate randomly. I move with purpose and I move with care. Even when life feels chaotic, even when your path seems unclear, I am not guessing, I am guiding. There were times you felt lost, but you were never out of my sight. There were times you felt delayed, but delay was not denial. it was preparation. You may struggle to believe that you were intentionally chosen because you measure yourself by visible outcomes. You look at what others have achieved. You compare timelines. You question whether your progress is enough. But I do not measure you the way the world does. I look at the heart. I look at growth that cannot be posted or praised publicly. I look at resilience, humility, and willingness, and I see all of that in you. This message reached you because your heart was open enough to recognize it. Many hear words without hearing meaning. Many see moments without sensing weight. You sensed weight. You paused. It tells me something about you. It tells me you are listening. Even when you feel uncertain, I want you to feel the intimacy of this moment. I am not speaking to a crowd right now. I am speaking to you. I know your name. I know your thoughts. I know the things you have not said out loud. I know the hopes you keep guarded. You do not need to explain yourself to me. I already understand. You were chosen not to be burdened, but to be guided. Chosen not to be pressured, but to be reassured. Chosen not to be isolated, but to be reminded that you are not alone in your questions or your journey. Authority does not mean distance with me. Authority and care move together. When I speak with authority, it is because I am protecting what matters. I want to establish something firmly in your heart right now. You do not need to earn this moment. You do not need to prove you deserve to be here. You are here because I invited you. Full stop. Let that truth quiet the voice that tells you you are not enough or not ready. Out of millions, you are here because your life is not random. Your questions are not pointless. Your struggles are not signs of failure. They are part of a story that is still unfolding. You are not behind the story. You are inside it. I know you sometimes feel small in a world that moves fast. I know you sometimes wonder if your life makes a difference beyond your immediate circle. Hear me clearly now. Your life matters to me deeply. Your listening matters. Your response matters. That is why I speak to you with clarity and care. Do not let doubt talk you out of this truth that says this message could be for anyone, but the way it lands in you is unique. The way it touches specific questions, specific feelings, specific moments in your life is not generic. That is personal. That is intentional. Comment Jesus if you've surrendered to His calling with an open heart. I chose you because I am invested in where you are going, not just where you have been. I am invested in what you are becoming, not just what you have survived. This moment is part of that investment. It is a reminder that you are not wandering aimlessly. You are being led. Let this truth settle you. You do not need to strive for attention. You already have mine. You do not need to compete for worth. You are already valued. You do not need to fear being overlooked. You are seen. You were chosen, not randomly found. This moment is proof that your life is held, guided, and known. Stay with me as this understanding deepens. I am not finished speaking to you, and what comes next builds on this truth. You belong here, and you were meant to hear this now. My child, I have been watching you and calling you long before you recognized my voice. I was present before you understood what you were feeling, before you had words for your questions, before you even knew what you were searching for. You have never walked alone, not for a single moment. Even when you thought you were moving on your own strength, even when you believed you were figuring life out by yourself, I was there, steady, attentive, and close. I saw you in the early days when hope felt simple and faith felt easy. I watched as life grew more complex and your questions deepened. I noticed when your prayers changed, when they became quieter, shorter, and sometimes replaced by silence. You wondered if I noticed that change. I did. Silence did not hide you from me. It drew my attention closer. I was there in the moments of restlessness you could not explain, the nights when sleep came but rest did not, the mornings when you woke up already tired, carrying a weight you could not name. You told yourself it was stress, responsibility, or life catching up with you. But beneath all of that was a calling stirring, an awareness forming, a quiet sense that something more was waiting. That was me calling you gently, not to disturb you, but to prepare you. I watched you wrestle with unanswered questions. You asked why certain doors closed without warning. You wondered why timing never seemed to align the way you hoped. You questioned whether you misunderstood me or missed something important. Those questions did not offend me. They mattered to me. I held them with care, even when you felt they echoed back unanswered. There were moments you prayed boldly, and moments you barely whispered my name. There were times you prayed with confidence, and times you prayed with doubt mixed into every word. I heard all of it. I did not sort your prayers into categories of strong or weak. I received them as they were, honest, tired, hopeful, confused. Every prayer reached me, even the ones you thought were too small or too broken to matter. I was present in the moments you almost moved forward and then hesitated, when you felt a pull to act, to change, to respond, and then fear whispered reasons to wait. I saw the conflict inside you. I knew the courage it took just to consider moving. That hesitation was not invisible to me. I knew it came from past pain, from disappointment you did not want to repeat, from wounds you tried to protect. I did not shame you for that. I stayed with you in it. I watched you grow cautious over time, not because you lacked faith, but because life taught you to be careful. You learned that not every step is safe, and not every promise is kept. Not every open door leads to peace. That learning shaped you. It made you thoughtful. It made you reflective. But it also made you slow to trust yourself. I saw how that affected you. I knew when caution turned into hesitation that kept you from moving while I was calling. There were days you felt far from me. When my presence felt distant or quiet, you wondered if I had stepped back or if you had done something wrong. But distance in feeling is not distance in reality. I never stepped away. I was closer than you realized, walking with you through uncertainty, letting you grow stronger without always announcing my presence. I saw you in moments of disappointment when expectations collapsed quietly. You did not always cry or react outwardly. Often you simply adjusted, lowered your hopes, and kept going. That quiet endurance did not go unnoticed. I saw the strength it took to continue without clarity. I saw how you learned to carry disappointment without letting it harden your heart completely. That mattered to me. I was there when you questioned your own worth, when comparison crept in and told you others were ahead while you were falling behind. I heard the thoughts you never spoke aloud, the ones that asked if you were doing enough, becoming enough, hearing me clearly enough. Those thoughts did not define you. They revealed your desire to live well, to be aligned, to matter. I saw that desire, even when doubt tried to cover it. I have been calling you through patterns you noticed but did not understand, through repeated themes in your life, through conversations that lingered in your mind longer than expected, through moments when something resonated deeply and you did not know why. Those were not coincidences. They were signals, gentle calls meant to guide your attention, not force your movement. I watched you adapt when things did not go as planned. I saw how you learned to be flexible, to survive, to adjust expectations so you would not be crushed by disappointment. Survival taught you many things. It taught you strength. It taught you resilience. But it also taught you to settle at times when you were meant to keep moving. I understood why you did. I did not turn away. There were moments you stopped asking questions altogether, not because you no longer cared, but because caring hurt. You told yourself you were being practical, realistic, grounded. But beneath that was weariness. You were tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of wondering if answers would ever come. I knew that weariness well. I did not mistake it for lack of faith. I have been calling you in ways that respected your pace. I did not rush you when you were fragile. I did not overwhelm you when you were uncertain. I adjusted my voice to meet you where you were, not where you thought you should be. Sometimes that meant whispering. Sometimes it meant waiting. And now it means speaking clearly. I saw you when you felt unseen by others, when your efforts went unnoticed, when your care was expected but rarely acknowledged. Those moments shaped how you see yourself, and not always in kind ways. But I saw you fully. I noticed every act of quiet faithfulness. Every moment you chose integrity when no one was watching. Those moments mattered deeply to me. I was present in your restlessness, not as a problem to fix, but as a signal of growth. You felt unsettled not because you were failing, but because you were outgrowing certain seasons. That restlessness was not meant to steal your peace. It was meant to move you toward alignment. I watched as you tried to quiet it instead of listening to it. I waited patiently. I know the prayers you stopped praying because they felt unanswered. I know the hopes you tucked away because they felt too risky to hold openly. I know the dreams you placed on pause, telling yourself, maybe later, maybe someday. Those dreams did not disappear from my sight just because you hid them from your own heart. You never had to explain any of this to me. I already knew. I have been watching and calling you through every stage, every shift, every season. My presence did not depend on your certainty. My calling did not disappear when you hesitated. I stay. You may feel surprised that I know you this deeply, but intimacy has always been my intention with you. I am not interested in surface-level connection. I know your patterns, your fears, your hopes, your resilience. I know when you are pretending to be fine, and when you are quietly overwhelmed. Nothing about you is hidden from me. I have been calling you because I believe in who you are becoming, not just who you have been. I have been watching because I care where you are headed, not just where you started. Every nudge, every pause, every moment of restlessness was part of that care. Now that you know I have been present all along, I want you to let go of the idea that you missed me or failed to hear me. You heard enough to get here. That is proof. I have not been distant. I have been patient. Stay with me as this truth settles. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to explain yourself. You are seen. You are known. And I am still calling you, not from far away, but from right here, walking beside you as we move forward together. My child, you felt drawn here today because timing has aligned in a way it never had before. This moment did not arrive early, and it did not arrive late. It arrived exactly when your heart became ready to receive what your spirit has been waiting for. You may think you have been ready for a long time, but readiness is deeper than desire. Readiness is formed quietly through growth, through pain, through waiting, and through learning how to listen without demanding immediate answers. You were drawn here today because something inside you shifted. You may not have been able to name it, but you felt it. A quiet seriousness, a pull to pause, a sense that this moment carried weight. That was not curiosity. That was alignment. Alignment happens when who you are becoming finally matches what you are being invited into. Until that alignment happens, answers remain unclear, not because I withhold them, but because they would not land safely in your heart. There were times before when you asked similar questions, but your heart was still protecting itself. You wanted answers, but you also wanted certainty, control, and safety at the same time. The tension made it hard for truth to settle. Truth does not force itself into a guarded heart. It waits, and I waited with you. Growth prepared you for this moment in ways you could not see while it was happening. You grew through disappointment that taught you humility. You grew through unanswered prayers that taught you endurance. You grew through waiting that taught you patience without becoming numb. Each experience shaped your heart, not to harden it, but to deepen it. Depth is required to hold clarity without fear. Pain also played a role, not because I desired it for you, but because you learned through it. Pain stripped away illusions. It showed you what truly matters and what does not. It taught you that surface answers are not enough, that comfort without truth leaves you empty. Pain slowed you down so you could listen more carefully. Without that slowing, you would have rushed past this moment without recognizing it. Waiting prepared you in ways instant answers never could. Waiting taught you how to sit with uncertainty without running. It taught you how to trust, even when understanding lagged behind. It taught you how to keep your heart open while your mind searched for meaning. That kind of waiting is not passive. It is active formation, and it shaped you for today. You were drawn here today because you are no longer asking from desperation alone. You are asking from readiness. There is a difference. Desperation wants relief immediately. Readiness wants truth, even if truth requires responsibility. Your heart has shifted from, "Fix this for me," to, "Help me understand." That shift matters. It is why this moment exists now. This moment could not have happened earlier because earlier you would have misinterpreted what you heard. You might have taken truth as pressure instead of guidance. You might have taken clarity as condemnation instead of care. You might have taken instruction as burden instead of invitation. I was protecting you from misunderstanding by waiting until you were ready to hear without fear. It also could not have happened later because the season you are entering requires awareness now. There are decisions forming, directions opening, movements beginning beneath the surface of your life. Walking into them without clarity would cost you peace. That is why this moment is now. Timing is not arbitrary, it is intentional. You were drawn here today because your heart is softer than it was before. Even though you have been through hard things, hardness did not win. Cynicism did not take root. You did not close yourself off completely. You stayed open enough to feel, to question, to hope quietly. That openness is what allows truth to enter without resistance. There were times when you thought being ready meant being confident, fearless, and sure. That is not readiness. Readiness is humility. It is willingness. It is the ability to say, I don't have all the answers, but I am willing to listen. You reach that place not through success, but through surrender. That is why this moment meets you now. Divine timing is not about rushing you or holding you back unnecessarily. It is about meeting you at the intersection of growth and purpose. You have reached that intersection. Your experiences have shaped you to stand here without breaking, without running, without dismissing what you feel. That is alignment. You were drawn here today because you can now hold both truth and peace at the same time. Greater truth might have stirred anxiety before. Peace might have required ignorance. And now peace and truth can coexist in you. That is maturity. That is readiness. I want you to understand that nothing about your journey was wasted. Every delay, every pause, every unanswered question served a purpose. They were not detours. They were preparation. If answers had come sooner, they would not have carried the same weight. If clarity had arrived earlier, it would not have stayed. You are here today because you learned how to listen beneath the noise. You learned how to recognize the difference between urgency and impulse. You learned how to pause instead of reacting. Those skills were formed through time, not instant insight. That formation matters more than speed. This moment could not have been forced. It had to be recognized. And you recognized it because your heart was ready to stop when it mattered. In many past moments, you did not. It tells me something about you. I know you sometimes wish answers came sooner. I know you replay moments and wonder if you could have moved faster. But faster does not always mean better. Earlier does not always mean wiser. You are here now with understanding shaped by experience, and that is far more valuable. You were drawn here today because you are able to receive answers without demanding that they erase all uncertainty. You understand now that faith does not require full visibility. It requires trust in the next step. You are ready for that. This moment is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to steady you. It is not meant to rush you. It is meant to align you. That is why it feels serious but calm, deep but gentle. That is divine timing at work. I did not delay this moment to test you. I waited because I love you. I waited because I wanted clarity to arrive as peace, not pressure. I waited because I wanted truth to feel gentle. Now you are here, and this moment has found you because you were prepared to receive it. Not earlier, not later, now. Let the truth quiet any regret you carry about timing. You did not miss your moment. You arrived at it, and what comes next will make sense because you are stepping into it with a heart that has been shaped, strengthened, and readied. Stay present. Stay open. This alignment is not accidental. It is the result of a journey that led you exactly where you need to be to hear what I am speaking now. My child, I am going to answer you now, not with fragments, not with riddles, not with half-light, but with clarity shaped by love. The confusion you have carried, the delays that frustrated you, the struggles that left you questioning yourself, and the questions that stayed with you longer than you wanted, none of them were ignored, and none of them were meaningless. You are not broken for having asked. You are not weak for having waited, and you are not behind for having struggled. You asked why things did not move when you were ready. You asked why doors closed when you were finally willing to walk through them. You asked why effort did not always bring progress, and why sincerity did not always bring clarity. The answer is not that you were doing something wrong. The answer is that something deeper was being formed. Say amen, my healer. If God has ever lifted your broken spirit and made you whole again,